Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Southborough Trails Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough's website at https://www.southboroughtown.com. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner by finding the meeting at https://www.southboroughtown.com/remote meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So we'll do a roll call vote for roll call attendance. When I call your name, just say you're here. Tom McCoolier.
Here.
Satyendra Sharma.
Yes.
Great, and Kat McKee. Great. So let's see, let me get participants. Can you help me keep an eye on attendees, Tom?
Yep, I sure will.
Okay, so it looks like I have a little out of order, so we'll start with the Algonquin Student Council, Nicholas Cito. So the Trail Spring Cleanup update. We had two very successful days last week. One that I led at the Route 85 Templeman/Watkins Loop Trail. We did a little bit there with two students, Nicholas and David. And then Tom, you led a session at the Town Forest that was reconstructing a side trail. And there was like
I think there was 6 or 7.
6 or 7 students came on that day. So they knocked it out, Sati. It was crazy in an hour. So it was many hands, equal light work for sure. So we're grateful to Nick for doing that. And then we had a third day scheduled, but he was having some trouble getting other students. So we postponed that for this Thursday coming, and Tom is going to lead that. And the student's going to work on some trail maintenance. That's going to be on the Sudbury Reservoir Trail / Burrs Loop / Aqueduct Trail. That's it runs parallel to White Bagley and near the railroad tracks. So it's not a lot of work there, but yeah.
How far do you want us to go? Do you want us to go all the way to Partridge?
Yeah, I think so, because what you'll find is it's going to be a fast walk because you're going to have a little bit of work. So you saw the pictures, there's some brushing out. That's where the loppers will come in handy. Your instrument, your saw will come in handy. And I don't think anyone's trained with that except
It came in, by the way.
It did? Do you love it?
I haven't used it yet. I love yours.
So Satyendra, Tom got one of the big boys, that big orange.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice saw. It cuts so well.
It does. And for someone like me who, might be out there just doing something, I don't want to handle or learn how to handle a chainsaw. This is just something I can,
You can slip it in your backpack.
Anybody can do it, and it's safer than a chainsaw.
There was a lot of positive reviews, like thousands that bought that.
Yeah, it's a good tool. So
one question. So it has to be done on a weekday, or?
Yeah, so this was the odd request that the students are all available just after school. So it made it difficult on us because we all work. But we each took a little time off. And so, ideally we do these types of things on the weekends, but when the opportunity comes knocking, we'll say, okay, come on in, and we'll find a way.
So this Thursday or next Thursday? I mean,
this coming Thursday. Yeah.
What time it is?
It's at 3. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Had I known, I would have. I mean, this week from our company, this week is National Day of Service week. But the problem is that I did one today already with the Habitat for Humanity.
Okay.
Whole day.
Gotcha.
So
you've used up your community service hours used up. Yeah, it's actually not a lot. And that's a good thing, is that our trails are in pretty good shape. I know that spring is springing still, so we'll need some cleanup and, some brush clearing and stuff around the cemetery in a few weeks. But back to your question, Tom, do that little section. I think your saw will come in handy with that one tree that's not very big, but just be careful in case it's a spring loaded tree. You know what to look for, when it's falling, when a tree is falling on another tree, and if you cut it, it just flies up. I wasn't quite clear on what the setup was there. And then you'll walk along and you'll see there's not a lot after that. And so as you come on to White Bagley, that's where that pile of rocks is with the post, if they could just stick that in.
Yep.
And then kind of walk along the road and then back along the trail. And when you come back on the trail the first time, well, that's not true. You'll come along and then you'll go back on the road and come around. It's the second access. It's like once you
cross over that little aqueduct.
Right. And then you go onto the trail.
Yeah.
And then you come back onto the road for just a
Yep.
tiny bit and then back into the trail. That's where you'll see that little beach area that fishermen like to hang out, and there's some trash there. So that's where you could start the trash pickup.
Okay.
And you might see some trash along the road too. So that was what I was thinking could happen. And then it's going to be a pretty quick walk to Partridge Hill doing some trash cleanup, because I don't think there's a lot of brush clearing and that kind of stuff in that area. And there is a post down at the corner of Partridge and White Bagley, but we're not asking for any installation because it's just knocked down. So someone nicely positioned it on a pole that was there, and we'll just have to deal with that later. The scouts won't, the students won't have the tools. It needs more.
Okay.
So thank you very much for that. And so we'll be good there. And then after that's done, I'll post. Now, if you want to send me some non-fuzzy pictures, I'll post those.
Was my pictures fuzzy?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You either need glasses like me or you need to stand still. Sometimes it's really hard when you're on the trail because you're high energy, or you're just, having done some physical activity. So your body, you could be actually.
So the ones we did on Sunday didn't come out?
Not Sunday. It was
the ones when I was with the group.
Yeah. But I'm joshing with you. It doesn't matter.
No, you know what? I thought they were perfect.
I know. And if I didn't have
look at them.
if I didn't have my glasses on, they would have been very perfect. Okay. So once you get me some pictures, we'll post up. We can do that Thursday night, and I'd like to give them a nice thank you. We thanked the first group, but there could be some different people in this one.
Yep, will do.
Awesome, thank you. So next up is approved minutes from the last meetings, the 414 and 5. Ooh, interesting. So I missed something. There's an error here, so I'm going to correct it, I think, during this live view.
414 only, I guess. No.
There's 414, 428,
Right.
and 5-6. So what we're going to do tonight is just 414. We're still well within the window of being able to meet our legal requirement from the town of submitting within 45 days. So thank you, Sati, for preparing 414. I circulated just the final version. Any questions on those?
No,
I'll send you the 528 and no. So which one? The 5-6 and 428. I'll send you.
Yeah, and the 5-6 is our listening session. So
Yeah.
that's going to be really simple,
Yep.
right? We don't have to recap everything we talked about. So what we're going to do is just say, here's the link to the recording.
Okay.
You're welcome. And then we're going to include I think I'll extract the questions, and there was some Q&A and chat that Melissa sent to me. So I'll extract that in a PDF, and we'll include that as an addendum to the minutes, and we'll just keep it really simple. No need to transcribe the listening session.
Okay.
And if we hear differently, then we will be schooled.
Okay. So 5-6 I'll send.
And 428 actually.
428. Yeah. No, not 5-6. 428. Yeah. Yep.
If you wanted to prepare the shell for 5-6 and just say insert link here or something.
Do that too. Okay.
The link is on our website. The listening session link is on our warrant article page. But I can grab that too if that's easier. So can someone make a motion to approve the 4/14/21 minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the April 14th minutes as presented.
I second it.
Great, thank you. And let's do a vote. Tom McCoolier,
Yes.
Satyendra Sharma,
Yes.
and Catherine McKee. Yes, thank you. Great. So, okay. Next up is Troop 92 Spring, the community service merit badge they're working on. So we are very happy to report that we finished we had a couple scouts show up on Sunday, including a new scout, Owen Hart, who was looking for community service hours for his separate initiative. So he joined the other troops, and he's from Troop 92 too. And we had two fathers and Tom and myself, right? And we finished the roughing out the trail. So it's existing, it's there. There's a few side projects like some stairs where it's really steep, or we could cut out the, do some bench cutting and kind of make the surface a little bit more sturdy and kind of flatten it out from here, a little place here and there, but nothing major. It can still open up. So thank you, Tom. And so what we'll do is the next step is to blaze, and I've confirmed with Solf that we'll use red, and I have red left over from the town forest a recent initiative. So we'll do that. And then we're going to name it, I think she said to name it Templeton. So it'll be Templeman Watkins Loop Trail is going to be the official name of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so I've been trying to get a map from All Trails. You can use it to just walk around. And I did a second loop yesterday, but there's something in the middle of the trail that keeps throwing my signal. So it's so much, it could be the tree coverage that's interrupting it, or some magnetic secret device underneath the earth, in the earth, that's causing it. I don't know. So I'm going to try again to get a map.
Tommyknocker? What's a Stephen King book with something buried in the ground? Is that Tommyknocker?
I don't know, but I like Stephen King. I'm surprised I don't know that. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to try to get a map, and then we'll get that posted, and we'll give it to Solf, and they can do what they need to. And I explained that we'll use a little, we'll put a blurb on our trail page and link it to Solf, link it to the map, and then I'll post some pictures congratulating Troop 92 on their efforts here. I think that, and I'm hoping, I would love to get that done by Saturday, but we have a lot going on, so I don't know that it's possible. So the thing is, we may have a couple of extra hours that the troops still need to, like a couple of kids that didn't come will still need to do their hours. So I don't know if you guys have any ideas, and if they can wait like a couple weeks, there might be that trail work I'm referring to around the cemetery where it really just grows in, and we use some loppers and different things like that. Do you have any other ideas?
Have you been off of the Ward Road when you head into Westboro?
Yeah, I walked that a couple weeks ago.
How's that? I mean, I did it in the winter, so it was fine, but
it looks
does it
good.
need to be cut out? It's fine.
No, it's so good.
God, that's the only one I could think of.
Right. I think I could take a look again off Deerfoot. You know how where the lumber is, where the lumber lines, sometimes that grows in a little bit. So we can kind of check there, because it's been a couple weeks, was out there and things are growing. So and we might be able to do, maybe some more trash pickup around some of those core trailhead areas, like Northborough Road gets pretty bad. So we can, if anything else comes to mind.
Hey, the good news is the trails are in pretty darn good shape.
Right? I'm very excited about that. So, and we had people, just this year was a phenomenal year for people coming out, like Troop 92 and the Algonquin students saying, hey, can I help? So that really helped us get that in good shape. So that's all good stuff. Yeah, so next is the Peninsula Trail. Now I'm trying to remember what, since we last spoke, has happened, because we had our listening session, and I shared during the listening session that MWRA was open to install it, to considering that boardwalk. instead of walking on Route 30. So that was the latest, greatest news. I need to work on that permit, and I'm gonna, so we actually, so MWA requires the 8M permit and DCR requires the public access plan. The 8M permit, I actually had submitted a version of that back in 2018, and that requires Mark Purple's signature. So we went through all of that. So I think what I'm going to do is, because Sean Nevin, our contact, said that they may be open to amending the existing 8M permit instead of having all these permits with us, just add on to an existing one, which does not have a timeline or deadline. Rather than go through a signature process, I might just write up the scope of the project and see if they can accept that as, you know, an amendment. And if they do need something signed from Mark Purple, then we can go through that process. But I'm going to start with that first. But good news on the Aqueduct Trail. We had an Eagle Scout is interested in finishing that trail up. So this is going to be, I know you're going to say, let me see it on a map, right? So let me show you first. So you remember when we did our work last year on the connector trail, Sati, where you actually had done, you and the people you brought. It's right at that location that the trail will take a hard, it will be perpendicular to that and go right down to Pine Hill Road. Okay, so let me share my screen and show you. I think this is it. Okay. Are you guys seeing a map yet? No.
Just you. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
No, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
Okay, so where we are talking about right now, our little trail, our, you know, connector goes along here, does a little jiggy jag, and it goes all the way here. So this Aqueduct Trail is going to go straight down here, right? So
It's going to connect to that other one.
Yeah, it's going to. So what happens is there's an aqueduct on Pine Hill. You never really notice it if you're driving from Route 30. I'm going to call that north. On your right, you'll see a gatehouse, like it's part of the aqueduct structure. So that there's a gate there, and it doesn't allow, it's no trespassing now, but that goes all the way into Framingham. So that's the actual aqueduct trail, right? So when MWA is opening up their aqueducts, those are the types of things they're opening up. So our current aqueduct trail overlaps most of the Sudbury Reservoir Trail. So for us, it doesn't really feel like an aqueduct necessarily, but that's where it actually begins to.
Can you kind of like just throw your mouse around? Like when you go into Framingham, is it down south of John McQuinn Circle? Whereabouts is it? Does it go around the Holton Aqueduct in the green there?
No, it's not down here. It literally, the best I can, maybe if I can go to satellite.
Yeah, satellite might have that because it should be cleared, right? Let's zoom in a little. Can you get closer? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there's that trail. Yeah. There's that big opening.
I have to come back out a little bit. Okay, so it's in, let's see.
Oh, is that it right there?
I think this might be it. Yes, this looks like it's going all the way. Yep, it looks like clear.
Oh yeah, that goes all the way to the street that you go to Callahan's on, I bet you. Continue going to the right. Or yeah, continue going to the right.
Well, I need
Watts Hill.
it.
It must go somewhere. It doesn't die there. Well, it looks like it does end there.
It does, but it's not supposed to. So yeah, but you see where it kind of looks like a trail. Yeah. So that is the existing aqueduct trail that they're going to
lays it from Pine Hill into that opening there, right?
Yes,
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So it's actually only like 0.2 miles. It's very small, but it's going to require, there's a lot of thorny brush and a lot of, similar to, well, we didn't really see kind of around the pond area, Tom, you remember, of the Route 85 trail, it was kind of just thick but this is worse. So it's going to take some time. And I reached out to Bay Circuit Trail volunteers, AMC volunteers that helped us with the connecting loop. And I asked if they would do a couple-hour workshop with the scouts to show them best practices of trail building, so that that could be the kickoff, and they can just kind of take us through the necessary steps and how we would want to approach this. And that way we're bringing in some experts, in a way that will help guide the decision making, and we can feel confident that we're making the right decisions. So this is now time sensitive, and I have to reach out to MWA, and hopefully it will line up with the scouts' need and the timing that he needs to have it done by. So the permitting may take a little bit of time, as we're familiar with, but we'll see if things line up. So that's kind of exciting for that piece. Okay, and then I guess the other piece about the Peninsula Trail is we have the town meeting on Saturday. So you guys saw, let's see, you saw the two-pager that we have. Did it change my screen, or am I still on the map?
No, you're on the website.
Okay, great. So you guys saw the two-pager that we submitted. So this will be printed out at town meeting for anyone who maybe hasn't seen the website or been received any of the alerts. So we do have a small amount of time to do a presentation, like under 5 minutes, and probably do it much less than that. And so my question to you guys would be, do you have any thoughts on, keeping it really simple, high level? What's the most important thing to communicate if you had 2 minutes or less to convince 300 registered voters to say yes?
I would just mention that it is required by MWRA, DCR, without putting a fence around it, they will not let the public in. Number two is we have, half a mile is paved. It allows a different population within Southborough to enjoy the trails.
I like that. Yep.
I mean, those are, they gotta be, everything's in 3, so I don't know what the third one would be.
Well, the third one is we're going to leverage this to, expand the project and do the boardwalk and do all the other fun things. But we might, I don't know how much we need to talk about the actual, I don't want to confuse them by adding more elements of what the project is.
And we can leverage these funds to apply for greater grants from Mass Trails.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yep. Great. And I did, so I was put in touch with the ADA committee. Remember, this came up a little while ago. Let's reach out to the ADA committee. And during our listening session, an individual said, are you aware that the town is undergoing a survey? So I was put in touch with the people and the person who's doing the surveying of the town's facilities. And I offered to do a walkthrough with him, and specifically wanted to walk on this trail to get his assessment. He's not quite ready to do that, but was willing to meet with us. So I'm going to send him some preliminary information. And hopefully in the next few weeks, it won't be before town meeting, we will connect with him, and he can, look at this and see, we'll at least start the conversation with someone who is familiar with the ADA compliance, and we may from that have a good place to continue on with that conversation.
So you said you possibly won't be able to before town meeting?
He won't. He said he cannot.
So does he realize that if we don't have to meet if it doesn't get approved? I mean, I hate to be, so that he can rally his community.
Yeah, I mean, I think I hear you, and I really wanted to attack it more aggressively and be like, well, are you sure about that? But there's a lot going on with a few other initiatives. So I decided to not be that super assertive person this time. And I don't think we're going to lose anything because of it, right? I had to prioritize a few different things, and I think that, and I just opted to not push too hard. And I'll give him some good information. We'll be fine. And if it comes up in conversation, we'll be able to answer some good questions during town meeting. But anything else on the keeping the presentation?
No, it looks good. You did a good job, Kat.
All right. Thanks for everybody's last minute feedback on that. I'm really hoping to just give us a little more space between when things need to get reviewed and signed off. But I do appreciate the last minute working that you guys have been doing with me on this. So thank you. Okay, next is the funding application. I think we've talked about. The project page is good. Oh, I should do a little more outreach. I think what I'll do is a trails alert, one of the trails web alert things that I can do. I can send out an announcement on that. We can send another announcement on Facebook. And I think that's going to be it. I feel like we've done a lot of outreach, you know, and our page is on the, you know, the town meeting has their own, or the town has their own town meeting page, and it has just the how-tos, you know, what to expect. And then down here, it has the different articles and the links to those. So we're here. So people, the only unfortunate thing is this trail on DCR land. I really wish it said something a little more, a little different, but it is what it is. Live and learn. I don't think it's that negative, but it, you know, just a thing. So I think any other thoughts on, and my Southborough ran an article a couple weeks ago, and she also, when she ran the article on the bell tower, you know, kind of referred back to our article. So that was kind of a second outreach piece. Any other thoughts on how we can get the word out in any other way?
Now, would the rec department send out to their mailing?
Yeah, so Tim was really good about promoting the listening session on Facebook. I could reach out to, he's actually our moderator tonight, but I could reach out and see if he wanted to do another, like a share of a Facebook post. That might be a good idea. And so.
Just one more time. I mean, it doesn't hurt. So just make sure people are fully aware and educated on the article.
Yeah. And so today is what, Tuesday? So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So maybe we can try to hit something each day as a way, because, you know, people don't always, even myself, I didn't get to see some of the stuff until I saw it in my Southborough, and then I read through it. And so people are kind of like getting up to speed this last week. So hello, Winston.
I can tell my neighbors, I mean, just on the street, just to come and vote.
Yeah. You want a yard sign?
I can do that.
I considered it. Don't.
Please vote and support.
We'd be the first project to put yard signs up for CPA article, maybe. So yeah, so that's that. And thanks for everybody's support on that. So the next topic is trails maintenance, and we've already really talked about that. So I don't think we have anything else new to report. Grant opportunities. So exciting to share that the stewardship / trails grant was awarded the Choate Fund. So can you see my screen? Are you seeing a PDF?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. So I couldn't share the name before, but we called it the Town Forest 2.0, expanding awareness and enhancing recreational opportunities for trail users. And although much of the project is focused in the town forest, as I'd mentioned before, the dog waste educational campaign is the broader piece that brings in trails. And so I'm very excited about that opportunity. And we're going to, in the town forest, since now we have that extra trail too, this is an updated map. And we're going to put, so we've blazed all the trails. We're going to put trail names and on the trail on the trails, and we're going to have a survey and ask the public to vote on different names that maybe inspire them, and use that to be the final count for the final say in what signs we choose, what names. So we'll do that. And then you might have noticed, Tom, that the town forest doesn't have, like, when you get there, you don't really know you're there. There's a sign on Woodland, which is great. And there's a directional sign at the end of Walnut that just got put back up after it was run over, but there's no map board like at the end of the cul-de-sac or on Woodland. So if you kind of stumble on it, so that would be kind of some of the things we're talking about doing, is putting up the map boards and some directional signs. And then at the end, doing a nature walk with to tie in everything from the capstone project, the birdhouses and the figurines and all of the naming and signs and stuff, so people know about the town forest. So that's kind of how we'll wrap up. And here are some examples of what the signs might look like. So, and the dog waste campaign will involve, like, just kind of outreach, and we might, it depends on, I think we're going to be more open this year. So we might have a table at Breakneck Hill where we're, talking to people about the dogs and different types of things. So we'll kind of get some buzz going around that. So that was good news. Also, speaking of trail hikes, so I had mentioned that this is moving into the next piece, the guided hike. The Youth and Family Services, Southborough Youth and Family Services had reached out to see if we could do something to help them bring awareness to Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we have successfully pulled together 2 guided hikes on the same day. And Debbie Costine, she's the vice president of Southborough Open Land Foundation. So we're partnering with them to offer these guided hikes on June 5th, which is National Trails Day. Get excited. So we're going to share this information so there'll be a registration page, and I hooked that up last night. If you can see my screen, do you see the Eventbrite? So it's a Beals Preserve guided hike, a walk in the woods, and so people can register. We're going to limit it to 12 people. 2 hikes same day, one at 9 a.m., one at 5 p.m. And so it'll be 12 people per hike. And I got to talk to Debbie and see if that is participants only, and then we can kind of like attend as an additional person and not be counted as the 12.
Is there a reason why it's limited to 12? Is that pre-COVID with the announcement on May 29th? Or?
No, it was a preference. I think sometimes, remember with our 30, 40 people hike, it was really hard to hear Andy. So this is a more intimate, and Debbie has, years of experience as an artist and a storyteller and a curious naturalist, as she describes herself, and she's a puppeteer. So I think a more intimate, setting in Beals is something that's preferred. So she doesn't have to project so loudly. People can actually experience the walk in a way that's, just a little bit more intimate. So, and we can do more hikes along, throughout the summer that are open more broadly to folks. So that's what so I think Southborough Youth and Family Services will be starting to promote some other information. So they're going to include the registration information. They're going to promote, I think they needed everything by tomorrow because there's some stuff at the end of the week. And then they're also going to have some information at town meeting. So that was the big push to get this done. And we are also offering them a 1-pager, or a 2-pager rather, but a 1-page 2-pager of resources in town. So it's not going to be fancy, but it'll just be a list. It'll have our website so people can go there, and a list of trails, everything in Southborough, and then also expanding just beyond Southborough, local resources like Callahan, Hopkinton, Ashland State Forest. We're surrounded by all of this public land and beautiful trails. So the idea is, physical activity really helps to enhance physical and mental well-being, as well as reduces stress and anxiety. So that's how they'd approached us to see if we could kind of add in and some information to help them promote that piece. So I'm also going to include a link. We received permissions. Debbie Costine, also of SOLF, recently did a virtual guided hike, and it was a really interesting approach to taking a walk in the woods. And she really brought in some educational materials about, topics about lichen and fungi and different things as you look along the forest. So I thought that was a great resource to include here. Sudbury Valley trustees, they were open to including it. And so folks can kind of take a look. If you've never been out on the trails and you don't really know exactly what what it's like. This is a nice little, like a 1, 2, 3, just a different way to approach your walks. So I thought that might be a great resource for folks to kind of take a look to. So that will be finalized today and sent in over tomorrow. So that's that. That was a last minute thing that came together quickly, and I'm glad we got to pull it together because mental health awareness is very important, and I think obviously exercise is a great way to work with that. So yeah, so if you guys can join on the 5th.
Well, find out if, I would gladly give my spot to somebody else if we're counted against the 12.
I think I'm kind of, because COVID restrictions are being lifted, I'm thinking we're going to be on the outside, and that's going to be fine.
But
So,
like I said, I'm more than willing to give my spot if that's the case.
yeah, of course. Thank you. But yeah, so that was, and unfortunately Isabel can't attend, but let's go ahead and begin to think about some other guided hikes that we can do throughout town. We had very good outcome when we did so in 2019. And so we can get back to that this year. And maybe we can find some other people that have special expertise in different topics that we could highlight. The map boxes. So I've been going around as I'm driving around town and looking at them, and it's so surprising. So Isabel had reported during the 428 meeting that someone took the notebook and pencil and wet ones, the whole packet, out of the Route 30 White Bagley one. So I went back and someone put it back. So whoever took it, they came back with it and reinstalled it, and they just took the wet ones, which was fine with me. But people are leaving little poems and messages in the logbook, not a ton, but it's such a nice surprise to see what's in those. So feel free to take a look, Tom, when you go, when you meet at Route 30. I think there might have been a couple in there.
This is just a thought. Why don't we all just take pictures of the quotes? We can blur out if there's somebody's name. That'd be a nice collage on our website.
I like that. Yeah, that's a great idea. And then there is an interesting poet who's been putting up, I'll call them poems, putting them up at right where we installed Sati, where we installed the fishing line one, across from Route 30 kiosk. You remember that little gate where we clean up that trash at the point? They started there, and then if you walk along the trail, Tom, you'll see one along the Route 30 before the train tracks, and there's one at Partridge Hill. So there was like several of them, and I took pictures of them. There's one at Route 85 too. So someone installed their own poetry, which I thought was very interesting. And I don't mind that they stapled it to the kiosk. It's just cute. So anyway, that's just a fun little tidbit. Yeah. And then, so we talked about the Eagle Scout opportunity. We did have someone come forward, a volunteer and inquiry. So I've not yet reached out to the person, but we'll do so and explore what they're interested in doing, and if they're Southborough resident and could maybe join the group. And we'll consider, I don't know if we want to consider, we have a lot going on in the next year or two, and I don't want to have too big of a committee, but I wonder if we want to expand by one more. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? We've talked a little bit before about having, kind of an unofficial attendee, someone who may be a part of the committee, but not a voting member. Do you guys have any thoughts on if we were, and if, I don't know if we're allowed to go to an even number, or if it has to be odd. So anyway, these are questions. Does anyone have a thought?
I have no problem with increasing the member, because sometimes, like I said, right now I do have a lot of availability, but there's some times of the year where I have none.
Right.
I imagine it's like everybody else. So I think it's a greater number. I don't think it hurts.
It increases our quorum by one. So if we are allowed to have 6, our quorum would be 4. And I think if we're allowed to have 7, it would still be 4, right?
Yeah, but we don't want to get too many. So
I don't want 7. I'm just saying, like, if I don't know if we're allowed to, I don't know if we have if there is a even number committee, a committee with even numbers. Does anyone know?
I
No.
don't know. I don't know that. I mean, I'm good either way on that. I mean, we're all up for reappointment next month, right? June.
Yep.
We should think about something about staggering that. It seems like weird that we're all at the same time.
What if we don't get reappointed? Oh my
I know. And what happens if we all say no? We don't want to do it anymore. Not that it's going to happen, but I'm just saying.
Hey, is anyone thinking about that?
Hmm?
Is anyone thinking about that?
Mhm.
No. Satyendra, are you still happy?
Yeah, and unless you want me to get out.
No. Did you say what? That we would,
Unless you want me to
oh gosh,
get
no.
out.
You're such a valuable member. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. I was just doing a sanity check, make sure everyone's all right. Okay, is there anything else we should schedule our next meeting?
The only thing that I got to bring up is I'm going to take it upon myself. Remember when we had the scouts there at 9/11 to open up discussion with Marlboro about
Yeah.
if they have any plans of blazing from the 9/11 field into the town of Marlboro. So I think I have a contact already. I'm
Yeah.
going to reach out and just inquire if they have any long-term plans to blaze a trail. Do we have approval? I'm just going to broach the idea with them. We'll be more than willing to take care of well, it's a small part, but we will also help them a little bit. But I want them to lead the charge with DCR and opening that and all that stuff, the permitting.
Well, so I think Marlboro is in a permitting process with DCR, so this would be the right time to
Right.
talk to them about it. And we would need to add our side of it to our existing agreement anyway. So, yeah, that's great, Tom. Thank you.
Well, I just like I said, I'm not promising it's going to go anywhere, but at least we can say that we're interested into expanding the 9/11 loop to go into Marlboro. And it has parking and all that stuff. So it's a benefit for both.
Yeah. And it's a nice fishing area. So if those trails are, need maintenance, we can.
Is that behind the field, or how do you go into that?
If the field is on your right hand side when you're parking it, well, when you park,
Yeah.
it's actually to the left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So 9/11 is right behind, the loop is right behind the field, and there's that access road. If you haven't been back there, Sati, I think you and your wife would enjoy that. If you enjoy Bay Circuit Trail because it's really wide, there's an access road that goes all the way to this place called Pine Point. It's very, very cool down there. And then the loop around is actually not too bad. It's not brushy. It's not, you don't feel like you're gonna walk up against anything. It's very open in there.
Yeah, I kind of know that place because if you have to go to Marlboro, you take that Acre Bridge Road and then.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that, yeah.
Yep. Okay, great. All right, so June, we are already in June. Can you imagine that? The half of the year. We still have half the year as the glass half full perspective. So I don't mind pushing it out a little bit because we've been meeting so much and we could use maybe a little tiny break after the town meeting. Maybe I could.
No, that sounds good. Why don't we reconvene after town meeting to make sure we're on the same page with the results, and then maybe take the month of July off.
Oh no, we can't take them off. You're silly. No, I meant just push it out. Like we've had some back-to-back meetings. Well, the reason I'm saying that, Tom, is because now if we do get a positive vote, we have to up our game a little bit because we have a notice of intent to put in. The Mass Trails grant is no joke, and it's going to take all of the time we have left in the year to make that happen.
Okay.
And we have to up our pressure, our encouragement for DCR, because now we're approaching 6 months. June, there's 6 months. And I think the public outreach process takes between 6 and 9 months. So if they're gonna take 9 months, that's not gonna give us an agreement before we go into the grant. And we were told last season that we needed the agreement in place to move forward with the grant. So we need DCR to fulfill their commitment in the next 6 months. And so we're gonna have to really attend every DCR Stewardship Council until until things start moving along.
Got it. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, so I mean, we can definitely work around your vacations, because hopefully we'll all have some of those long vacations. So June, should we try something like the week of the 22nd?
Sure.
How about, so we've traditionally done Wednesdays. Is Wednesday,
Is there a master planning committee meeting on that day?
there's on the 10th, there is.
Oh, okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a second master plan committee meeting in June, because we missed the last one and we're trying to get that, the plan done. So we might have to double up.
So it's probably like Wednesday, the 9th then, right? For the
Well, I
master.
have it on Thursday, the 10th. Do you?
Let me look.
It is weird that it's on the 10th, but so maybe we should look at the Tuesday, the 22nd. How does that work for you, Sati?
Yeah, that's fine.
Tom, 22nd?
That looks fine.
Okay, so we'll have to check in with Miss Louisa. Louisa and Isabel. And 6:30 is still the right time?
That's fine.
Yep.
All
Great,
right, I have in my calendar.
thank you, me too. And so can we get a vote to adjourn, a motion to adjourn?
Okay.
So
I
moves.
move the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Second, great. And let's do a vote, a roll call vote. Tom McCoolier
Yes.
and Satyendra Sharma.
Yes.
Great, and Kat McKee, yes. And so we adjourn at 7:17, record time for us. Great, thank you. So is everyone going to be at town meeting on Saturday?
I think ours is gonna be in the afternoon.
It might be on Sunday, you never know. Might be a long weekend. Please, all I wish
I'll be there.
that it doesn't rain and that we get, something happens this weekend, that it doesn't get punted for some unknown reason, and, that would be tricky.
So Sam Stivers was not an attendee tonight,
No attendees, Sati.
so I sent him an email making sure he's okay.
You did. Oh, that's cute.
He always attends that meeting, so.
It's Tuesday. Do they have a meeting tonight?
Oh, you know what? They probably have selectmen meetings. Oh, so
Yeah. So we did miss our friend though.
yes, we do. He actually contributes a lot.
Yeah.
I like him being involved.
I like it when Board of Selectmen attend meetings
I do too.
when they can. All right, guys, you have a good night, and I will, Tom, let's connect tonight. Because I think I'm gonna head out and I can
Drop
drop
my
my,
cell phone. Just text me if you come over.
I don't know where you live, so don't tell me on the recording, but I will. Well, I guess it's public information.
I'll just text it to you right now.